We got so much stuff going on at the base now that the frame rates have dropped in some cases to single digits. Okay, which, I mean, that's pretty epic given my hardware, but I'm just saying, it's been a long ride. It's been a really cool experience. Thank you for joining me for the Crust. This is our finale episode, and today we're gonna get fusion power set up. It's like the last thing I need to do to make sure that my base is stable forever. And in order to do that, we need to create energy cells in order to do that. So if I go to the electricity tab here, here's our fusion generator. It produces 1,000 units of power, but it requires 1 energy cell. Now, energy cells are not something I can buy. You have to make them. So let's get started doing that. So if I go over to the production tab and I check out the high-tech factory, we can do 1 duralumin plate, 6 helium-3, and 2 nanotubes to create 1 energy cell. Or I could create it by incorporating a cheaper resource, steel, another slightly cheaper resource, titanium plate, and then also introducing something I have an abundance of, which is my rare earth elements. We're going to do that instead. We're going to use 4 resources. It's the same amount of helium-3 in both recipes, so I'm not worried about the scarcity of helium-3, but instead of using duralumin, I get to use the titanium. I can sell duralumin for more, so that's fine. And then instead of using the nanotubes, I can use a whole bunch of steel because I got a ton of that too. Now, where are we going to set this up? Well, I've looked at it and I've decided that routing resources around to a new storage location is the better call here. And we have a whole lot of space on the surface right over here. These resources down below are pretty spread out. Trying to get iron and titanium plates good. Trying to get the rare earth elements to route around is doable, but then helium-3's got to go down and route over to it just to send the energy cells back up to the top. I don't really need to do that. So what I've decided to do is this. Those of you with acute eyesight might see that we have extra storages here, okay? This is my enormous chain of rare earth element storage, which I can totally sell on the full market anyway, but I'm going to start using it and then selling it is basically what we're going to do here. And then I've got an extra row of storages right here. What I've got here are 2 titanium plate storages, 4 steel storages, and then 4 helium-3 storages. And that coincides, not an exact ratio, but it coincides with the fact that we need, you know, a lot more steel and a lot more helium-3 than we do titanium plate. Okay, so we have twice as much storage for steel and helium-3 as we do titanium plate. And then I've got a whole lot of the rare earth elements anyway. Okay, to get this built, we need to use the manufacturer is what we're going to be ultimately doing here. So we're going to use the manufacturer and we're going to set it up over here. Yeah, that's what we're going to do right over here. So we're going to say, let's say 1 there, 2, and 3. We can start with 3 of these, and I'm pretty sure that will be enough to satisfy all of our fusion power plants that we're going to have, which will occupy the remainder of this space over here. A big old fusion place is going to happen over on this side. So first we're going to let these things build. Now, as for the order that these things go in, I'm going to reference the order. I went ahead and I changed one of these machines' recipes really quick, just so I could see what the order would be, and then changed it back so they're back to normal. And in so changing that, I now know that my rare earths, by default here, my rare earths will go on the far left, and then my titanium will go in the next slot over, and then my steel will go in the next slot over, and the helium-3 will be in the last slot. And that's why I've got the storages ordered the way I do. Although I'm starting to think I don't have it quite far enough away from all the storages. We'll see about that. Let's just route these right now and we'll get it over with. So I want to say that we're going to have you come out on this side, and we're going to have you not do any of the jumping. So you're just going to go straight through from here and pop in there, there, and there. Not there, there. So that's the rare earth elements that are going to get funneled to these machines. very easily. They absolutely do not need to be tier 5. That's my bad. That's neat. Oh, that's even more neat. Okay, just had to... I mean, if I had a smooth operation here, it just wouldn't be me, right? You know what? As a punishment, I'm going to do another one. It's not really a punishment so much. It's like I'm going to be selling the access, so it's going to be fine. But let's start with tier 1 because we really don't need tier 5 on that belt. There we go. And put it in there, put it in there, and put it in there. Okay. While that's happening, we want to route the other ones. And I am going to pause it because frame rates are actually making this a little bit more difficult to move around. So we want the next belt to be here, running along this side all the way to here. Okay. And that's where the titanium is going to come out and come to there. For our steel, we'll have it route this way. And it's going to end up going like that and then over like so. And then our final one. Am I supposed to? Yeah, so the final one has, it's going to end up coming right here. Yeah, it ends up coming out here and then moving over, I believe. Let's double check how I had this. Because I think my helium-3 is going to get caught here. Yeah. It's going to get caught here. Let's say helium-3 can go the other direction. It's just going to have to cross there. Yeah, it needs like a weird zigzag to get into that one, but we're gonna make it work. So the first thing I'm going to do with this helium-3, I guess, is we're going to start here, and we're going to come from this side instead. So it will come around here and then back. It's going to double back on itself. Okay. And it's messy. I know. I probably should change the order and how these things work and make iron go. I think I will. I think this is how I'm going to play it instead. I'm going to make steel go through there on that side instead. That way helium-3 can get where it needs to go. Okay. So my big mistake with this was just these units are too far to the left. When I originally planned this out, it was scooted over a bit more, and so that these belts didn't have to zigzag back to the left. It doesn't matter. We're going to make it work because now helium-3 is going to come over and just hop over top of the steel belt, and then everything just kind of works from there. So it doesn't have the same sort of like linear look to the belt and ports and stuff like our last setup did over here, for example. See, they're all kind of in a line like that. We don't really have that look over here because they're hopping each other a little bit differently, but it's still going to work, and that's the important thing. Everything's going to work. So we're going to have resources now flowing down the belt. There they are. Going to start getting distributed to all these machines, getting backed up on them while we wait. I've got power routed already through to the different machines like that. And then when they are done producing, which I will need to mark as energy cells. There we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. All right, energy cells. When that happens, they'll slide their energy cells over to storages here. So, I mean, we're not going to actually use this much storage for them. That's just not going to happen. But if it does, cool, I guess. It means we just have an abundance of everything. If that happens and these fill up for whatever reason, I now have the ability to then send this down to this belt. And yep, that's the output belt. So we can send it to there. And let's make sure this is upgraded. There we go. And then we'll block that one off. So if for some reason we fill up these storages and I need to get rid of it, it just sends it here. And that will send it to the rest of the trade setup. The rest of the trade system will then route it all the way through here. And it ends up in that storage right there waiting for it. But by then, we have so much abundance, it doesn't matter. And like, yeah, we could sell it, but whatever, you know, or money no longer matters. And that's kind of the reason why today's video is the finale for this series, because once money stops mattering, for me anyway, once money stops mattering and really there's nothing else left to explore, then I kind of lose the fun factor in it for me. If there's not a challenge or a risk, or there's a goal that we're striving towards, like the laser, kind of starts to lose it for me. So this is our last development, right? Like we haven't done fusion power yet, so let's go ahead and get that done. All right, so we need to wait for these to build, but when they're done building, the energy cells then need to be fed to our power plants, right? So if we take a look at the electricity, the fusion reactor costs a lot of resources to build. A single one costs 450 steel, 86 composites, 40 modular terminals. That's what it is. I'm playing a lot of different games, man. I'm like, my brain is all scrambled in different games right now. 120 modular frames, 60 duralumin, and 12 of the CPU core. So we have a lot of those parts. We have them in storage. We can do that, but we want to have a row of fusion reactors here. So I'm going to put one right here, and then I'm going to put another one right next to that, and then I'll put another one right next to that, and we're going to try to see if we can feed 3 of these things with 4 of these things. We're going to see if we can make that happen. But these are the priorities. So let's get those built first, please, everyone. And at least that storage. All right. Now what we'll do is I actually think I'm going to swing this down to a single storage instead of 2, because it just works a lot easier. Whoops. That's not what I wanted to do. Hey. I hit the drill, and there's no way to drill up here, so it kicks you down below first. There we go. Okay. Let's just do this with 1 because it's way easier. So from there, we have this blocked. All right. Then this storage kicks this up all the way, and then we start going that direction across these 3 power plants. Okay. All feeding it into that input right there. This input right here. Here we go. And this input right here. That's the plan. All right. Now, these will be really cool to have, but I can't do anything in terms of getting the resources to make these power plants work.
Research Lab has prepared a new shipment. We can send a cargo truck and deliver it to our base.
These freaking hairs on my arm are just up in the air right now. This guy scared the crap out of me. Like, I didn't think I was going to have anyone talking to me anymore, but I guess that's the case. All right, cool. So anyway, yeah, they're going to bring a whole bunch of these resources over, and they're going to use these to do it, which, I mean, I've got thousands of it, so whatever. These are all backed up, ready to be fed into these systems. The only thing they're waiting for now is carbon fiber. You're waiting for carbon fiber. I don't wait for anything, okay? We don't do that anymore. We don't need to wait for anything anymore. All right. We're going to take a big carbon fiber delivery because it's clearly on its way over here, right? Like, all the carbon fibers is going this way. And I just don't really feel like taking it off the belts. So we're just going to let that go. I mean, we could expand carbon fiber production, right? I've already done that. This building over here is fully operational. We have more data center stuff going on through here too. Everything is fully operational here, and they are maxed out as far as upgrades go that I have available. They're maxed out. Storage is about to increase. Then we'll have the blockchain data center. We're going to see what that's all about. Powered by the new fusion, right? And then, we could do some other basic stuff, manufacture upgrades, etc. None of that stuff is very exciting. This is interesting to me. I want to have this done before the end of the day. And then carbon fiber factory upgrade is already on the queue as well to start to get that going. So yeah, that's where we are right now. And then we have hauling drones are idle. There's nothing to haul. There's really nothing to haul. I mean, I see something on the ground, but you got to have a storage that's willing to take it. And this is probably, let's see, what is this? This is aluminum, right? Yeah. So the aluminum is over here. I gotta figure out where the hell I am. Yeah. So you're telling me this is full? It is not full. You can bring it. What do you mean you're idle? I think the hauling drones have decided they want to stop working. It's fine. They don't have enough to do. I understand. Let's change it up. Instead of hauling to construction sites, we'll just have you be the constructors. So I'm going to take and have our hauling drones go back down to 10. That's fine with me. Blue science, we're kind of wasting it right now. We'll just take the manufacturer upgrade away and replace it with fusion reactor upgrade. Why not? Maybe we can have it do even better. Okay, so as soon as the carbon fiber arrives, I'm going to park it right here. Drones will get out. They'll complete all these machines because I bet they're just waiting for that on everything. Yep. And then over here, these should just complete. And these are the main priority, but these should just complete. And yep. So I'll see you guys in a second when these are done. All right, carbon fiber delivered and the manufacturers have begun. Oh yes, very nice. Now you're gonna see this is the real reason why we definitely need the fusion power up and running pretty soon here. We're gonna run out of power in 1.6 days, and we have 5.5 days left of the nighttime. So I'm running at a huge deficit here. And it's just to the point now where like I could add a lot more solar panels. I really could. But at some point we need a really powerful source that burns something, right? Because of how much we're generating, you know, like I have the space for more panels, but I'm going to have space efficiency here. I'm going to have fusion generation instead right over here. So we're going to get these 3 up. That's 3,000 power right here. That's the equivalent of 10 of these. So in this little space, we'll output the same amount of power as about this little area right here. Okay. And it may still not be enough, but the advantage of this is at least it will run continuously at night. So yeah, if only we could solve fusion power on Earth. Yeah. Closest thing we have is nuclear power, which is great. It's clean. It's great. It's incredibly expensive. But once you set it up, it's pretty nice. And we'll hopefully have a lot more of that in the future. But in the meantime, in the video game world, we're going to try to mimic the sun right here in these spots. Now, while we're waiting for these things to build, you might be curious on how I'm getting the resources for these over here. And it's pretty simple. We're simply releasing them, at least the titanium and the steel. It's just being released like a trade whenever I want to add more out. So there's a little bit of a manual process to that. So like I'll release the titanium plate and off it will go. Just like I'm trading it to the world or anything, I'll do the same thing here with the steel. Let's go ahead and turn this on so we can replenish that supply. It's cool. And then once we do that, it goes through the whole loop, just like it's a trade, right? It goes through the entire loop, and eventually it ends up right over here, coming out of this, all right, Expedition Control Center. It comes out, and then it gets split here. So there's some splitter logic going on right here that effectively takes these 3 resources as a priority in that direction. If it comes through here on this belt, which it totally could do, the same thing is applied here. There's a prioritization to send this resource this direction. All of these. And then this splitter governs where it goes ultimately. And then this splitter governs where it goes ultimately. And that's just kind of how that rocks. And they all end up through here, which then either comes out that side or comes out this side, depending on what resource it is. So you can see I've released the titanium plates. They ended up over here. They made their way over this direction. The steel will do the same thing. And the helium-3, I don't have to release it manually because that's coming in on the cargo docks anyway. So the helium-3 will naturally hit this area and it will get redirected here by default. So only when these are completely full will it continue that direction. And that is a bit of a manual process because, you know, if these are full, then it's also backing this entire thing up at that point. So it will stop the whole system. I realize that's a weakness, but that's why I have a lot of storages over here. And what I'm going to do, I think eventually, I mean, it's never going to be a thing because I'm going to stop playing, right? But if I was going to keep playing for some reason in a more long-term plan, then we could get it to where, you know, there's a bit better logic. Maybe the helium-3 comes off of the belt over here instead. And that way, if this is backed up, then it sends it to the storage in that direction. You know, I would do it a little earlier, right? Maybe we'd do it right here, but I don't really care. It's okay because we're going to be, you know, wrapping things up today, but there's ideas, there's solutions to every problem in that sense. So there we go. We have this idle because it hasn't received these yet. And so all we need now is for this to get some power. And I'm going to wait till daytime, of course, because this will get done. I think maybe we need to tell them to hurry this up, actually. Yeah, let's have them hurry that up. And I think we need to make another one, man. I don't think we're going to have enough power, especially with the blockchain thing happening later. I don't think we're going to have enough power. So I'm going to have another one positioned. Let's spread it out a little bit. We'll do like rows of 3 kind of thing. So 1, 2, and 3, like that. And then if we want to have even more of them, then this belt will go between these 2 and feed another 6 on that side. It'd be fine. But for now, we'll just, while we have the frame rates, let's just come this way. And we're going to drop that off just like that. Come here now. There we go. And then bring you this way, drop you in there. And then bring you this way and drop you in there. All right, now tentatively, because we don't have those built yet, we're going to block that output so that all of our energy cells ends up going into these 2 until this is built, and then we'll allow the energy cells to go that way again. All right, here we go. Fusion power. There it is. That looks pretty neat. Now, I don't know how long it takes to burn one of these energy cells, but it's making 1,000 power. So I like that. And we're about to get a second one here as soon as this arrives. There we go. Get those in there, and boom, starts it up. There's 1,000 power. And just as the sun comes up too, which is fine because the battery will fill. And then that will power the rest of these plants to make even more of them. We'll have a huge, big fusion power setup over here, which is nice. All of our warehouses can now increase 50% storage here. The first one I would do, just to, like, protect that whole plan, would be these ones, right? Just keep that bigger, make that bigger. Same thing over here. We want these to be, you know, as big as they can be. So we'll just go ahead and pay for them. It's fine. And then the single resources that keep filling up in this area would be next. So that would be duralumin plate, which is almost full. It would be titanium plate on this side would be all right to fill. The composites would be all right to bump up. Both of the rare earths, we'd bump that up. And I'd probably bump up at least this one steel here. And then maybe all the concrete and stuff too at this point. But yeah, we just bump up a bunch of these storages. It's okay. How many more of these do we have? 158 of them. That's enough to build all of my fusion reactors that I'm trying to build. So cool. I've also went ahead and turned the cargo drones back on. So I do have 20 haulers. It's just for whatever reason, they didn't have anything to do. And now they do. Now they can haul all these resources out to the fusion reactors that are out there. I do want to make sure that that one is built first because it's probably... Gotta believe it's damn near close to being delivered now. Composites, modular frames, not quite. It's all a matter of time at this point. So let me give it a bit more time, and then we'll see what these look like when they're all set up and done. The blockchain data center will hopefully be done by the time these are built too, but maybe not. I will actually go ahead and buy additional science to help speed that process along too. There we go. Okay, so we got 3 functional plants, and sun's going down, so I want to see what my deficit is and how long we have for power with the current setup. I'm also adding 3 additional makers of the energy cells here. I want to get even more, so we're gonna go like that, and then I need to connect it to power there and there. So I'm setting those up too so that we can keep cranking on and get even more energy cells, because these things are sucking them down. They're thirsty. Now this one's taking most of them, and as soon as this one's full, then all the supply will just keep moving this way. So there's that. This one's got 18 in it. This one's got 8 in it. And then this one just came online. It's got 2 in it already. That's pretty nice. Now I have had one of these close right here. Yeah, so I'm gonna open that back up and allow things to pass through. So that gets us 2 there, and then this one's set up and ready and built, and it just doesn't have any energy cells yet. And this one's nearly completed. So we're gonna have 6 fusion reactors. And if my math serves me correctly, which it may not, but if my math does serve me correctly, as soon as this comes back online, we actually have no power deficit at all at night. Right now it says 6 days, but that's with 38%. So as soon as we get, this thing's gonna come online, and as soon as we get that, it doesn't have, it's moving, but it doesn't actually have anything in it right now. I kind of wish the graphics would be Okay, so it flickers. Okay, so it moves, but when it's out of energy cells, it flickers. That is interesting. Okay, so we want to have some brought there. I'm going to drop this and drop this on the ground and see if we can't maybe get the drones to come over and bring one over here just to get it going. I want to say there. So drones can come over and fill that if you could, please. Somebody's going to do it. And when that happens, I mean, we basically have no deficit at all. Blockchain data center is done.
Package delivered.
As far as the research for it goes, it's done. They are not bringing it. They have a lot of different things. There's a lot of things that are a priority right now. I need to see one of them pass. There it is. So this one should go. This one should go in there, and that'll get that started. So we can go ahead and turn. Oh, it's already off. Wow. Okay. I must have just did the wrong one. No. I thought for sure I turned that on, but it's okay. Now it has power. Yep. And so it shows no change in deficit. That's odd. This was like 1100 before. Maybe it was already calculating this with this off. It's a bit odd. Doesn't seem to have changed anything. 1.9 days left of darkness. Are you on a separate? You're not on a separate grid. Oh my God. I mean, you can't tell there's two grids by doing this because they're not connected at all. Oh my God. All right. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and connect these things. You know, actually connect them, like for reals, yo. You know, legitimate connections to the power is required. And there we go. And we'll go all the way over this way. Sure. Yeah, one more over this way. And can we connect you? Sure can. And then connect you. Kind of getting further and further away, aren't we, with these things? I think I'm gonna have to have a pole here that doesn't have any connections. No, it's gonna work. There it is. Okay, well, hey, you know, we got that. So we should have a power surplus, I guess, once these are connected. Oh my God. Hey, you know, that's the way you end. You know, that's the finale right there. That's how you do it. You build this enormous power plant structure that basically replaces almost the entirety of your whole solar setup, renders your batteries nearly useless, and then you just, you know, don't connect it. You just don't hook it up. That's the way you do it right there. Oh yeah. All right, so now we have a surplus at night. Supposedly, almost. We almost have a surplus at night. At least we did. They're all connected now. All right, how is that a thing? How are they not working? Look at that. They're still down 1,000? We're gonna lose what? This doesn't make any sense. Connect it to the solar panel. I don't know. Like, it's definitely got to be on the same grid. Now we're down 4,000 power. Okay, maybe it's not me. You know, maybe this isn't something that I've done wrong, because I've got all these working now. Supposed to be cranking out 1,000 generation each, but we're about to lose power all throughout the whole base. It's as if they're not even built. It didn't add 5,000 power, because this is 5,000 power of generation. Power grid is currently generating 5,956. Okay, the final fusion generator has just been built, and despite my best efforts, it's not completely screwed up. Yeah, so they are all connected to the grid. We have one unified grid now, producing lots of power. We have a 14,500 unit surplus during the day. which is about 6,000 more than I had before. So that makes sense. But I mean, it's not enough to fully power the base overnight. We still need the batteries. That's got to happen still. There's a bunch of money right there. Sending out some contracts really quickly. You duralumin plate, you're just going, man. Oh, now I'm full on aluminum too. Well, let's temporarily we're gonna go ahead and increase that. I need to get some contracts going that get rid of my duralumin plate as well. So the highest capacity, the better. Yes, I could send these out. I could. Maybe there's one where we could send it out in one of the expedition centers instead. Let's see. This one's a pretty good one, actually. That goes... Yeah, we can fill the duralumin plate pretty quickly. So let's try this one. That's everything I need to send right there. So we'll send all of that. Looks like it's going to need a little bit more. There we go. Duralumin plate will finish quickly on that. We'll go ahead and send the aluminum too. I mean, the whole belt is just full of duralumin plate at this point, so it should fill up pretty quickly. And then we get rid of a lot of these other things too. Let's go ahead and clear that out and let the aluminum flow for a little while. So yeah, there we go. So with the blockchain research done, I think it's time to look into that and see what that's going to do to us. Now, this is going to probably fill up. Our batteries are much higher now than they were before. And because we're generating an extra 6,000 power, trying to do some mental math here, I think that means we're going to have about a 4,400 power deficit overnight. So as long as the batteries can withstand the 4,400 deficit overnight, we're solid. But, you know, I think maybe we should just have more of these fusion things. Maybe we should. If we can have more energy cells, that is. We're kind of struggling on getting those completely supplied. This is building up still. So I anticipate this filling up to 100. And then the next one and the next one and the next one. So over time, eventually, we'll be good. But right now, the ones at the end especially are having a difficult time getting served. Maybe I could skip the line. We could skip the line here. What if we kind of did something like this? A little unconventional, but what if we skip the line and just have it go there? Now, some of them will go that way instead. Yeah. Some of them will go that way instead now, which, you know, I don't think that's necessarily very helpful, but it could. It could help the ones over here get some. Okay. And then I think I do want to have more of these at least planned out. So we're going to send a belt this direction, goes through here, and it will then funnel this direction to feed some more of them, and this direction to feed some more of them. Of course, we need to produce a lot more energy cells to support such a thing. This will be blocked for now, so it doesn't happen. There we are. Yeah, and I've upgraded to tier 2 just so that the ones we do have will move faster through these systems. So, yeah, there we are. And then I guess I could probably do that too, just to speed that up a little bit too, because why not? Okay. And then how are we doing on our contracts here to making sure aluminum is still going up? That one's got all the duralumin plate it needs. There's no ship there. So it's just aluminum getting funneled through now. Now we're a little bit... Yeah, we're messing up with titanium plate now. Good thing is we're sending that over to energy cells anyway. All right. Also, near the end of this video, I did want to show that I am, in fact, using the expedition centers. So I've got duralumin plate going out on this one, and I've got basically 3 extra trucks, which are going to make their way over to these expedition centers here, and I have 2 extra ones just sort of waiting for an additional contract to do. The science module is now completed as well. We'll just... I don't know, put something on the schedule there. So with the science module completed, we can now go to Science Base Charlie, and we can build that science module here. There we go. Now we need the resources for construction, of course. So we're going to want to set the route to bring these things from my base to this base with, let's say, Cyclops can do it. We will fill all the resources required. I don't need food. Well, we can bring food. Why not? We can bring all the stuff. All right, bring all the things. And then, you know what? From there, I'll probably just have you pick up the stuff. It's fine. Just go ahead and assign the route there. And he will use, of course, another of our expedition centers to facilitate that. And our drones are going to be busy through here too, because again, the expedition centers, I can't stop them from delivering to them. So we're going to see them start to deliver there too. But I have a lot of duralumin plate just going out on this belt. To help make this process faster for like this right here to send that out, I have a sort of shortcut that I put in. So we have this here, which I can then release and send it this direction a little bit faster, because this is like bottlenecked. You can only do one tier 5 belt worth of throughput into these things at a time, is what we learned. So I can go ahead and activate this one, and that will send the duralumin plate this direction. It doesn't do anything for my... I'm not sure why we still have this. Is this still open? It is still open. Okay. We got duralumin plate heading this direction, but now it's got another shortcut. Now, if it needs to go here for a contract, that's fine, but it really doesn't need to do that anymore. So I'm just going to make sure that it's pretty much only going this way now. I'm actually going to go ahead and lock that down so it can only go this way. And what we're going to see here is it's going to get redirected this direction. And now what I can do is, instead of having to go through all these things, we can just send it through there, and then it will make its way out and go that way. Okay, so it bypasses the whole thing. I don't have anyone here though, so I want to do that instead. Yeah, and it's going to eventually make its way over, and then it gets into these things, so we start seeing these things fill up, right? Yeah. And then I'm going to need some more of these processors. We got a ton of those, so we're going to send those out as well. I'm probably done on the duralumin plate. We'll go ahead and hold that, and I think we're most likely done. I think I needed some composites or something brought over there too. I think modular terminals were needed at that location to start building, right? So we needed some of those, and I think we also needed a few, quite a few actually, iron, steel, whatever you want to call it, to go that way as well. So we're going to send that out as well towards the expedition centers, and that's pretty much all we're doing, is just sending it towards the expedition centers. So we'll go ahead and unlock that one, I guess, and that one can be unlocked as well. There we go. So let's just turn that stuff loose, send it towards the expedition centers. All good things. It is nighttime, as you'll notice the entire time I've been here after this cut, and we are down 2,800 power, which is enough to last us a very long time. 80 days worth of storage because of the fusion power happening here, for which the back one here now has 10 in storage. So I think we're in pretty good shape there. The front one is full, and it has this little bit just waiting. So this is all stacked up. All of them then make their way to this one, which is now full too, just filled up. And so we're going to start seeing these things just kind of pause on the belt on this one as well. Should be paused right there. Yep. And then so now it gives a chance for this one to fill, which is at 92, etc., etc., until eventually this entire belt is just full of, you know, the energy stuff. And if I really wanted to, I have the capacity now to just go ahead and add another 6 over here for whatever reason. I could stack these over there too. But instead of doing that, I want to finish this off and finalize this series with a little bit of blockchain action. Yeah. So let's see what that's all about. I'm not actually sure where it is. Maybe it's in CPU. Ah, there it is. The data processing node. A dedicated module for handling complex computations, provides free processing capacity to external clients for a fee. And these are not that big, actually. So I'm thinking I was going to put them over here, but I don't think it's necessary. We could put them maybe right in the middle here. Nah, whatever. Just put them over here. It's fine. Maybe in this little area right here. That's cool. Yeah, a little processing area for our blockchain activities. 1, 2, 3. You're not going to let me do that? That's that one spot. People reported that there's a spot here. For whatever reason, you can't build in it. So that's this. You know what? I think depending on how much power these things use, 3 of them might just be enough. Okay. So I think we're good there on just the 3. And then this one can connect there, I guess. Okie dokie. Let's get one of them built first. We'll focus on 2. Focus on 2. Get those built. Because I want to see what they're all about. Of course, all the drones are going to be very busy with the expedition centers right now. Just because you can't stop them from being so. But that guy's taken off. That's cool. He's going to go right through our blockchain station later. He doesn't really have a way to get out, does he? I've already just... I didn't leave enough room. So that one has to clip now because you can't go this way anymore. It's fine. All this work I did to make sure there's clean paths to drive. Not so much. Now, we have almost 1,000 food in storage, so that's pretty fine as well. I could have food hit the belt. I did set that up, so I want to show you that. It's probably not going to matter at this point, but it can work. So what you have to do is we come over here, and food has priority to here. So there's no food there, but later on in the chain there will be. So we have 360 there, and 135 there. So if I want food to be on the trade belt, I just open this up and food goes out. It's going to make its way around this belt and goes this belt, and it joins with the concrete export out that way. So it goes that way and out to the top side, okay? So if I wanted to send food to a trade center or expedition center or whatever, that's how I would do it. And then as I go up top, we'll see that the food is right here. It's these little things there. This food is going to make its way through the system just like it normally does. And what I want to see, ooh, it didn't actually work the way I thought it was going to work. Okay, so what we need now, we can fix it, right? So all resources go there. It's probably right here. This is the jam. So we want this to allow food and medicine, because why not? Go. Now food will make its way this way with everything else, but this has been told to separate those 2 resources in that direction. So now the food instantly ends up on the export belt instead of on this resource belt here. And so with that, it ends up going through, and yes, it shares the belt with all these other exports, but it does end up on the export belt. And that's really all it needs, because then it works its way through the system and gets delivered wherever it needs to go. If for some reason it makes it to this point, so it goes through all the expedition centers, all the flight control centers, if it makes it to this point, then what happens is it's going to get automatically sorted to go this way. And when it does, it ends up down here. This thing will take it here and then drop it off into this. So it ends up still in storage and usable by our people if it goes too far. So if I accidentally let a little bit out, a little bit too much out, it ends up through there anyway. So it is getting taken care of for a full loop there. The only way that doesn't work is if that storage down there is full. And that storage down there, I shouldn't be full because they're actually eating out of it. So we should be good to go there. All right, I'll bring you guys back in when we have data centers, aka blockchain, aka Bitcoin miners, running up on the moon. See you in a second. Okay, we got one built. Data processing node. And expected reward, it says it doesn't know. Time to receipt is 7 days. Last block 0. All profit, no, we don't know. But it uses 450 units of power. So it's just gonna sit here and use power until maybe it gets some credits for doing so. So it's actually not as much power as I thought it would be. I expected it to be more, but as you add more in, I mean that's a big deal. Like these 2 units here are basically just using one of our fusion reactors at this point. So I suppose it's a pretty good amount, I guess, if 2 of them almost use the entirety of a fusion reactor. But you know, it's very cool. So we'll see whether or not we get any credits for this. It looks like there's mining progress here. If there is no power grid distributions by the end of the day, the credits will be transferred to your account. Okay. If there are no power grid distributions by the end of the day. If there are no I'm confused by that. What does it mean if there are no power grid distributions by the end of the day? Wouldn't it be if there are distributions to be delivered at the end of the day? I don't know. But it's solving some complex math. Okay, process in progress. There it goes. Yep. Let's see how much. Oh, maybe it's the expected reward. Maybe the expected reward goes up and then you don't get paid until the end of the day. Okay, that's what it is. So time to receipt is 5 days, and it will just keep doing this and build up I see. Now this one's doing it too. Okay, cool. 450 power constantly for that. Nice. I'm also adding right now, that's why there's a water warning, I'm adding additional farms down here because I want more carbon fiber there. So we're going to increase the level of that one. Yep, and that should tip us over where we need. There we go. So these are all level 2 now. Really pumping out that ice right there. All the way over into here. All of you guys. Level 2, level 2, level 2, and level 2. Now, it is an achievement to fully mine out an ice deposit. That's an achievement to actually use up one of these things. And despite having 2 level 2s here and trying to pump it out, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter how many level 2s I have because this is full, right? Yeah. I just figured this one would go faster. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. How much ice is left in this one? 20,000 still in that one. Wow. Okay. We'll go ahead and upgrade that one too. Now we have a lot more water than we need. There we go. There we go. And then we upgrade you there. Upgrade you two a couple of times. I just want as much as I can possibly get because it helps my carbon fiber production. Yep, there we go. So all of our farms are maxed to level 2. And then there is research happening that will get them up to level 3. It's on the schedule there. But right now I'm trying to get the fusion reactor upgrade, which I'm hoping will, I don't know, give me more capacity for more Bitcoin or something. I'm not sure. You know, maybe we'll sit this one on ETH Classic or something. I don't know. We got some microcircuits there that need to be delivered, but otherwise I've pretty much built everything of consequence in the game for this. And we've used all the expedition centers and all the belts. Everything is looking pretty good. I am satisfied with my time in Crust. I hope you guys are too. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a wonderful, wonderful series. Certainly ended up better than the last one did, yeah? I hope you guys will join me for my next adventure. Maybe we'll revisit this at full release. I don't know. Depends on how different it is. I don't normally repeat a game unless there's something substantially different about the experience. So if there is, then we'll take a look at it again, all right? Take it easy. Love your faces. Thank you for watching. We'll see ya. Bye-bye.